Welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and coming up on today's program, we're looking at the latest news and rumors that are coming from the NFL Combine. We have boots on the ground in Indianapolis, and before we get going on today's program, I just really want to give a quick shout-out to all of the Chat Sports crew that is working their tails off right now at the NFL Combine. We have a bunch of our guys there getting all the clips from all the GM interviews, all the coach interviews. They're going to be talking to all the prospects while they're down there. So if you love all the content that we're bringing you from the NFL Combine, go down and hit that thumbs up icon. Like the video for the Chat Sports crew. Absolutely putting in work in Indianapolis. I really couldn't do a lot of the stuff that I'm doing here if it wasn't for them. So to show them some appreciation, go down, hit that like button, and show them that we do love this NFL draft content that we got going on for you today. Now, let's talk about the biggest story coming out from the Houston Texans from day one of the NFL Combine, where coaches, GM spoke to the media. DeMeco Ryans at the Combine did not speak to the media. Nick Caserio did, though. And we all know the trade rumors that have been going on around CJ Stroud all off season long. And Nick Caserio was very quick to shut that shit down. He put those rumors to rest while talking to media members at the NFL Combine, which I actually found pretty refreshing because we've been seeing insane trade rumors all offseason. And to be completely honest, this morning I saw this Bleacher Report article and it had the Houston Texans and this horrendous trade. So luckily, because Nick Caserio came out and kind of said CJ's the guy going into next year, we don't have to worry about it. We can all just have a good laugh at these horrible trade rumors, especially this one been put out by Bleacher Report. It's a great thing because we don't have to worry about all this BS anymore. We can just have a good laugh, say, that's funny, that's a cute idea over there by Bleacher Report. This is never going to happen. And if you don't believe me, let's hear what Nick Caserio had to say around CJ Stroud.
He's our quarterback. He ain't going anywhere. We have a lot of confidence, a lot of belief. I mean, I'd say the philosophy that DeMeco and I have, we're going to support our players and do everything we can to kind of help them. And this league's about ups and downs. I mean, nothing's perfect. I mean, there's no team that's undefeated unless I missed something this year. So that's not going to happen. You know, by and large, you're probably going to lose 5 or 6 games. There's going to be some margin on either side. You're going to have some good plays. You're going to have some bad plays. You're going to have some good games. You're going to have some bad games. Okay, how do you bounce back? How do you handle that? So it's just, I mean, this league is a one game at a time proposition, and how you handle it, every situation, ultimately is going to determine your success and your longevity. So no loss. I mean, look, the stock market's been going down for 5 days, so everybody's probably panic selling. So, you know, really what you're doing is you're investing more. So, but anyways, we have a lot of confidence in CJ. We got a lot of confidence in our players, and I'm glad he's our quarterback. Go ahead.
So there you heard it, straight from Nick Caserio. The Texans are not moving on from CJ Stroud. And obviously, he lamented the fact that they still have faith in CJ Stroud, how much they like him as their starting quarterback and like him as a leader for this team, which is all true. But like I've been saying for the past weeks, it makes no sense for the Texans to trade CJ Stroud because there is no other valuable option this offseason. And the Texans are in win-now mode. There's going to be a lot of stuff up in the air if you do a CJ Stroud trade. He's only 24 years old, so still young enough to where you can have some faith in him getting better and improving. Obviously, Nick Caserio thought it would be best to put all those rumors to bed and really say, hey, CJ Stroud, he's our guy moving forward. Let's focus on other areas around this Texans roster. So I want to hear from you folks at home. What's your one-word reaction to Caserio shutting down all the Stroud trade rumors, really locking in that CJ's the guy going into next season? Let me know. I'm really interested to see what you have to say. Give me your one-word reaction to Caserio shutting down those Stroud trade rumors. I'd say relieved. Relieved because, honestly, I never really thought that they would trade CJ Stroud, but just the idea of them moving on from him made me really nervous because, as I've lamented, there's no other option. There's no other really good plan if you don't have CJ Stroud. The draft isn't loaded. There's only one viable starting quarterback, and he's going to go number 1 overall, Fernando Mendoza, to the Las Vegas Raiders. Free agency, I mean, Daniel Jones, but he's basically already going to get locked up in Indianapolis. You have Kyler Murray or Tua Tagovailoa. Are they really upgrades over CJ Stroud? No. So there's no other option that's better than CJ Stroud this offseason if you moved on from him. Plus, they obviously still have some faith in the young quarterback. We're going to talk about some running back rumors coming up because bad news for Houston Texans fans that wanted the top running back in free agency. I'll tell you why here in just one moment. But before we get going on that, quick word from our sponsor over at Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. I love it. So does producer Lopez, and I know you will too. Listen, obviously, I know football is over, but Prize Picks, they're giving you a chance to shoot your shot and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, every board, every home run, every game-saving catch that much more exciting. So don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. It's super simple. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. Pick from all your favorite sports, anything from basketball, baseball, hockey, MMA, soccer, college basketball, tennis, golf, esports, and more. Those are all available with our friends over at Prize Picks. And something that I really like with Prize Picks is they do season-long projections. So I went ahead and put a lineup in for baseball this year. This is my Astros-centric lineup. Obviously, you can't just do one team, but lucky for us, we have some former Stros on different squads. So Bregman with the Cubbies, I'm going the more on him. I'm still cool with Alex Bregman. I'm going the more on Altuve, more on Yordan Alvarez, and I'm going the less on Kyle Tucker. Why? Because F him. That's why. This is my lineup for the season-long projections for baseball. You can use my lineup or go ahead and make your own over with our friends over at Prize Picks. Like I said, super simple. You can join the millions of users and sign up for America's #1 fantasy sports app today, available in all 50 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in laps after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in laps after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All that information down in the comments and description of today's show. All right, first, let's talk about the Texans running back, Joe Mixon, and the news or lack thereof that came from the NFL Combine today. It was, awesome. Caserio went out and really, set the record straight on CJ Stroud and the Texans' stance on training him, and then he does the complete opposite when it comes to Joe Mixon. This coming from my guy, Aaron Wilson. I know he's also working the Combine today. Shout out to him putting in that really good work. He tweeted out Texans general manager Nick Caserio on Joe Mixon's situation. We've talked to Joe. Honestly, it's day to day. Listen to this. I think he had surgery this offseason. I'm not going to be evasive, but it's a moving target. We'll see what the prognosis is for the season and try to figure out what ultimately makes sense. I think he had surgery. You think? What do you mean you think? He should be your starting running back going into next season. You think? What are we doing here? I don't know if I speak for all Texans fans, but I think I speak for most Texans fans when I say, can we just be done with this already? Like, I am tired of all the games and all the evasive. He said, I'm not trying to be all this, smoke and mirrors around Joe Mixon. I'm done with it. He's either all in or he's all out, and it seems like he's more out than he is in. So I'm ready for him to be done. Nothing against Joe Mixon. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, this, that, or the other. I'm not trying to disparage Mixon. But as a Texans fan who has really high hopes for this next year, I'm tired of this will he, won't he kind of situation with Mixon and the starting running back room for the Houston Texans. Can we just move on from him? Can we just cut him this offseason? He can, make his comeback in 2026, play for another team. I want a more clear future for the Houston Texans. And I think a lot of Texans fans were hoping for Breece Hall. Bad news for y'all. I don't think he's going anywhere. Hall, he's set to be a free agent this offseason. And the Texans, they'd be a logical fit for Breece. And a lot of rumors were kind of, rumors and speculation around the Texans having major interest in the Jets running back. But it looks like the Jets are trying everything in their power to keep him in New York, which It's a real bummer because Breece Hall would have been awesome for the Houston Texans. Let's see what the Jets general manager had to say, though, on Breece Hall and why I'm really not hopeful for the Texans signing him this offseason.
Yeah, the tags are an option. Ideally, we'd find a way to get a deal done and keep Breece around. I think I've said that for the last year since I've got here. Breece is a good player. Want to find a way to keep him around. We've been going through that process and are still doing so. And, we have a week to find out, if we can't get to an agreement, which way we'll go with that tag. Yeah, we'll find a way to keep Breece here if we can't get a deal done.
Do you get the sense that he wants to be here long term?
I do get the sense that Breece wants to be here. We've had good conversations throughout the season, after the season, so just finding a way to do that.
Man, they are absolutely doing my boy Breece wrong. He is going to be stuck in New York and being on one of the worst teams in the NFL, and there's nothing he can do about it because you heard it from right there, right? They're basically either going to try to work out an extension, and if that doesn't work out, they're not afraid to use the franchise tag on him, which really sucks because I think a lot of Texans fans were hoping that they would have a chance at least to sign the top running back in free agency, which I believe Breece Hall is at this moment. Look at his last 4 years in the NFL. He has been an absolute double threat in the backfield for the New York Jets. Over 1,000 rushing yards this past year, 350 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns for a putrid offense in the New York Jets. He was basically the Jets offense this past year. And, he is still young. He's still, 24, 25 years old, and I think would have added a dynamic piece to this Texans offense. And it sucks because I made this video earlier that last week, and the choices are dwindling down, right? Obviously, for my top 3, Breece Hall, probably not going to be in free agency. Javonte Williams, already re-signed by the Dallas Cowboys. And then there's Kenneth Walker, which there's a lot of rumors now around the Texans and Kenneth Walker, obviously because he, without Breece Hall, without Javonte Williams, is the clear top target for running backs in this free agency cycle. So more than likely, if the Texans want him, they will have to overpay for the Super Bowl MVP in Kenneth Walker. And if they don't do that, if they're not able to sign Kenneth Walker, they're more than likely going to have to be, forced to spend a early round draft pick on a running back, and it's going to be Jadarian Price. He's the only running back that the Texans will be able to draft who is going to be a, starting caliber back in the early parts of the NFL draft. There's basically no way they're getting Jeremiah Love unless they jump the Kansas City Chiefs and trade up with maybe the New Orleans Saints at number 8. And I already told y'all what I thought it would take, and that's probably not even enough to get up to number 8 to jump the Kansas City Chiefs. So more than likely, if they want a premier back, they're either going to have to overpay in free agency or overdraft in the 2026 NFL draft, which really sucks because Breece Hall would have been awesome with Houston. But we'll see what the New York Jets end up doing. Hey, did you make it to the end of the video? And you're subscribed? Well, you're an absolute real one. Thank you for making it to the end of the show. If you made it to the end and you're subscribed, make sure spam those H's down below in the comment section so I know who the real ones are here on Texans Today. And if you're not subscribed, well, you made it to the end of the video. We did something right. Go down, hit that sub button, and then spam those H's because I know you're an absolute real one. And if you love the Houston Texans and you want Texans news and rumors all year long, well, you're in the right spot. Hit that sub button. It's 100% for free.